Hello everyone, welcome back. Today I'm gonna read You Will Never Share an Intimate Moment with Princess Celestia. A few things before I start. I'm sort of gonna switch my channel so it's not just stuck to Brony, so I'm just gonna keep it as my main channel now. So a bunch of gaming content's gonna come up in here. And I know it's the foundation of ClopFic I built this on is gonna just rupture and just go away. But my channel, I do what I want. I go with the flow and I just want to do me. Gaming is basically me, so hopefully you guys enjoy and stay tuned for that. If not, just bye. Don't care. Anyways, let's hop right into this. Beautiful rays of gold shine down from the clear blue skies, bathing the marvelous city of Canterlot in a comforting blanket of sunlight. The city itself has a very curious location, with it being etched into the colossal mountains at the center of Equestria. Half of the grand towers remain on the mountains. The other half remarkably sees itself hanging off the side of the cliff, overlooking a vast expanse of hills and rivers in the distance, while a large portion of the city is composed of the elitist residents who spend their days enjoying their frivolous and privileged lives. A small section of the city is comprised of Canterlot Castle. That's exactly where you're looking as the train pulls into Canterlot's train station. More specifically, your eyes are locked on the tallest tower of the castle, where two Alicorn sisters share the rule over the day and night, as well as Equestria itself. With a slight jerk, the train makes a complete stop, and the conductor announces their arrival. You make your way off the train, past the ponies who are fumbling with their luggage, and make a beeline towards the castle in the distance. You step through the busy streets of Canterlot, past diners where you can see in the windows esteemed ponies eating the smallest portion of decorative foods on their plates. You smirk as you wonder if you would have to take a loan to afford whatever they're eating, but you aren't interested in experiencing the daily lives of the elite. You will have something even better waiting for you at the castle, just in front of you. Stepping over the small bridge arching the tiny river outside the castle, you come upon a pair of guard stallions, standing dutifully on both sides of the castle entrance. Neither of them make eye contact with you. As you're standing in front of them, the way they stand like statues makes you nervous. You're wondering if they're waiting for you to make one wrong move so they can take you to the ground and relieve themselves of their boredom. Their uneventful watch provides. A moment passes before the guard to your right, a brown unicorn, speaks. "State your business, or leave," he orders flatly. You quickly reach into your pocket, fumbling over the scroll that's been tucked away, and promptly unroll it before him. His horn lights up with gray magic as he levitates it from your hands and closer to his face. His eyes scan the parchment as he reads it thoroughly. The parchment flows to the side, and to your surprise, you feel something passing over your ankles. You look down and see the same color of red magic pass over your legs and moving towards your waist. While the sensation is painless, it's a little uncomfortable for your liking. Thankfully, it dissipates once it passes your cranium. "He's clean," the stallion utters, turning towards the guard on your left. "You there, go notify Her Majesty that her guest has arrived." Nodding, the other guard steps through the doors, leaving you and the brown-coated one alone. Be patient. It may take several minutes until she's able to receive you. Not having the faintest idea how long you'll be waiting, you crouch and sit on the stone ground. The hard surface doesn't feel great on your rear, but it's a little better than standing for who knows how long at this point. You command yourself to wait patiently, but deep inside, you can feel your anxiousness building. You only received this invitation yesterday, but it feels like it's been so much longer. You never dreamed you would be fortunate enough to be granted an audience with a pony so regal and beloved by her subjects. You wonder if you're underdressed as you look down at your dark blue jeans and your red button shirt with its sleeves rolled up, and your plain faded gray t-shirt underneath. You're suddenly wishing that you had taken up Brady's offer to let her try her hoof at making you a suit. It's taking every bit of your willpower not to whine in frustration in front of the stallion, his eyes fixed forward, but no doubt keeping you in his peripheral vision. Several agonizing minutes pass, but a faint sound catches your attention. It almost sounds like wind chimes dancing through the air, but tinier and more numerous than you ever thought possible. You turn your head up and to the side, in the direction of the source of the noise. To your amazement, you can see something descending slowly from the air at an angled curve. It's a collection of glittering cerulean and turquoise magical energy, taking the form of a translucent staircase with rails on either side, making its way towards the ground at a gradual pace. "Looks like she's ready for you," the stallion says as you pull yourself off the ground and stand up, passing your hands over your backside to shake away any loose rubble. Your jeans hay collected, the staircase forms in its final step, just inches away from your feet. Enjoy your time with her. You hesitantly lift your foot over the first step before slowly letting it down and testing its sturdiness. You shift your weight to that foot and find that it indeed holds you just like any other staircase would. You look up and see where exactly the staircase goes up, finding that it stretches all the way out and around the tallest tower, circling in such a way that makes it impossible to see the top. You've been looking forward to this since yesterday, but you weren't expecting that you would have to make such a climb for it. You gulp nervously, see it stretch out over the valley, where even the city itself has no quarter. Nevertheless, you force yourself to take more steps upward. You've been looking forward to this too much to be daunted by a measly set of stairs. You won't let them stop you, no matter how tall and fragile they look. You keep a steady pace as you walk up their form, past the edges of the city, and rounding the curve around the tower. You've been climbing for several minutes, and though you're in feasible shape, even this amount of steps forces you to stop and catch your breath. You rest your hand on the rail and look to your left, out towards the valleys that pony hooves have made no attempt to build upon. It truly is a marvelous sight to behold. The sheer beauty, every inch of land within the kingdom of Equestria. Wander down to the following rivers, coursing through the hills and through the grounds below. You make the mistake of following them a little too far, to the point where you're looking at your feet, as well as through the stairs, holding them in the air. It doesn't take a particularly bright creature, human, pony, or otherwise, to understand that you're several stories up in the air. Your belly flops, and your knees begin to shake as you contemplate what would happen if the staircase were to disappear at this very moment. Shaking your head, you continue your trek upwards, keeping an extra tight grip on the rail provided. More time passes, and you've circled around the tallest tower once. You're feeling the burn in your calves, and contemplate resting once again until you notice something up in front of you. You were beginning to wonder if you would ever see it, but it's finally there, the top and the end of this magical staircase, extending just a bit above and over the balcony, etched into the highest point in the city. She's there. She's waiting for you. She has to be. The burning feeling in your legs seems to disappear, and you push yourself to keep climbing, not feeling tired or even slightly scared of the daunting height you've reached. The promise of what's waiting at the end of your journey seems to have granted you with a renewed vigor to keep climbing onward. A number of steps later, and you catch the first glimpse of her. The tip of her long, white horn points towards the sun, shining down on the land of Equestria. You take another step, and you can see the base of her horn jutting out from the turquoise hue of her mane, and the golden tiara covering her head. Just a bit of her primary feathers are visible over the edge of the balcony, but you can tell from here that they're flared up as traditional with alicorns such as herself and Luna. Further along, you can finally see her eyes. You find yourself staring into those large pools of magenta, and your heart skips a beat as you see her cheeks rising in a smile from locking eyes with you. Her chin is visible with another step up, and the benevolence of her face fills your chest with a exhilarating warmth. Her shimmering mane moves behind her head in a gentle breeze of blue and turquoise, as if a group of invisible hands were constantly gliding through her hair. A golden chestplate rests from her shoulders, complementing her tiara and making her regalia present to any pony who was fortunate enough to lay eyes on her. Almost near the top, you can see her tail floating behind her as well. The hair at both ends of her form is so large, it seems as if they're one complete entity when she stands at the right angle. At the bottom of her long, slender legs, her hooves are shielded from the marble balcony by magnificently crafted golden horseshoes. It's been a long journey, but finally being able to look at the figure from head to hooves makes your journey more than worth it already. Once you've stepped over the rail, Princess Celestia moves towards you at a linear pace. She stops just half a foot away from you, with Celestia being the tallest pony in the land. Her height puts her head level to yours. She slowly lowers her head and rests her chin on your shoulder, Hello there, she speaks to you softly. I'm so glad that you could join me, and on such a beautiful day as well. Her voice is tender and soothing, like that of an angel. Each syllable she utters makes you feel more at peace with yourself. And with her, you are hesitant to move at first, but hearing her speak helps ease your fears. You slowly lift your hands and touch her long, graceful neck, and your arms wrap around her in a soft hug. On reaction, her large wings drape down, encompassing you and pulling you in a bit closer. You close your eyes as you bask in the feeling of hugging Princess Celestia. Her body is warm, soft, and reassuring. You take in the soft smell of perfume from behind her ears. It smells like a crisp summer morning, after it rained the night before, like grass and flowers and a morning dew. You feel safe holding the princess, and she seems to take notice. Her wings move a bit behind you, rubbing your back and reminding you that she's more than happy to grant you an audience with her today. After a moment, Celestia moves her head upwards and you release her. She touches the tip of her horn to your chest. It glows with golden magic, and you find your shirts vanishing off of your body before your eyes. The effect reaches even lower, melting away your pants, your shoes, even your underwear. You find yourself completely naked in front of the princess, and you instinctively cross your legs to cover yourself. Please don't be embarrassed, Celestia asks, still keeping her beautiful magenta eyes on you. You have a beautiful form, even if it's different from what I and my subjects are accustomed to. It's a shame that your world asks you to cover that up. With your face still a bit hot, you uncross your legs and reveal that your penis is beginning to increase in length. No need to be ashamed of that either. It's okay. I would never get angry at something your body does naturally. You take a deep breath through your nose and let out through your mouth. It still feels a bit strange being naked in front of her, especially with your shaft partly rigid and pointing towards her hooves. Nonetheless, you trust her comforting voice. You can tell that she's being honest by the way she keeps her focus on your face with an undeterred smile. Please make yourself comfortable, Celestia says, moving a wing behind you and prompting you to move forward. In front of you, you can see a large cushion laid out on the marble floor of the balcony. Your bare feet step forward and you kneel down on its cushy surface. Once you're close enough, with your hands supporting your upper body, you crawl around on your knees until you reach a spot near the middle. You turn a bit and sit down, then lay back against it. It feels wonderful against your bare skin, as does the gentle breeze and the magnificent warmth of the sun kissing your exposed body. As you're laying back, your eyes drift to the princess. Celestia raises her hoofs, one leg at a time, and gently shakes off her golden horseshoes, leaving them scattered upon the surface of the balcony with her magic. She unclasps the chest plate hanging from her neck, and lifts the tiara from her head. She shakes her head back and forth slowly, her shimmering mane following her movements and becoming unfurled. Her hair still retained its glowing beauty and angelic movements, but now seems to have become untamed from the restraint her crown had placed on it. Though she was hardly wearing anything deemed to be considered clothing, now that she's cast aside her accessories, even she seems more naked in front of you. It's a peculiar yet enchanting sight, one that sends a shiver down your body and makes your erection throb. Celestia steps towards the cushion laying upon, and you scoot to the side to allow her room to join you. She lowers her body to the soft surface and tucks her hind legs underneath her form, breathing out a comfortable sigh. Now then, the princess says, turning to look at you earnestly, tell me about yourself. You ask what she would like to know. Everything. I want to know you completely. Tell me all that you feel comfortable sharing about yourself. It's something that you have difficulty forming a response to, but Celestia is willing to give you time to think it out. You decide to keep the air pleasant and focus on the good things about yourself, even though there are days when you feel there's hardly anything worth mentioning. You begin to share the small achievements in your life, small things like awards you won in school, or social events your family dragged you to, accomplishments at work, or fun activities with friends, things you're working on in the privacy of your home, stuff that you hope you can pursue in a career one day, but for now only serves as a hobby. Each quality you share makes Celestia's eyes shine and her mouth remains fixed in a joyful smile. Oh, that's wonderful, she'll sometimes say. Oh, that's very impressive. What is that exactly? Tell me more about that. For several minutes, you are telling her everything that comes to mind, and for a moment, her response helps stimulate your self-image. That all sounds very impressive, Celestia tells you, and to your surprise, you actually agree with her. The things you've told her make you feel unusually impressed with yourself. So, if all of that is true, then why do I feel that you're holding onto such pain deep down? She's right. You feel your chest tighten as you know that you have plenty of days when it's hard to find a reason to smile. More days than you're comfortable with. You mention something from your past that makes you upset. Celestia winces momentarily, and you apologize, holding back from telling her more as you turn your head away. No! Please! Don't hide away from me, Celestia urges you, rocking herself a bit closer and extending a wing over your bare shoulder. I said I want to know everything about you. That includes the things that might not make you smile. You look up at her a moment to see her eyes still on you, a serious look implanted on her face. It's as if her very existence depends on your sharing yourself with her, and she'll just die if you shut her out. Though it makes your heart heavy, you begin to confess to the princess the thoughts that have troubled you for most of your life. You begin to share the hardships you faced, opportunities missed, friendships lost, people you love who have passed away, the constant fear you struggle with as you tumble blindly through life, seemingly without any direction, the worry that you might not ever amount to anything despite your efforts. You find your hands squeezing upon themselves as you share the intimacies about yourself, things you've known all along but makes your eyes sting to say out loud. Celestia hardly speaks at all, only apologizing respectfully from time to time. Otherwise, she's listening to you attentively, her wing brushing softly against your back. If you need to cry, you may, Celestia informs you comfortingly. You force an inward breath through your nose and shake your head. I promise it won't bother me. Even a princess needs to from time to time. She smiles when you ask her if she's serious. Of course I do. Being a princess of a nation comes with its own share of headaches and woes. I would be lying if I said I didn't break down from time to time. With your vision getting blurry, you lower your head to Celestia's shoulders and you begin to sob. You hardly even speak anymore, with your throat busy making noises of sorrow. Her neck lowers and her chin rests against the back of your neck. You sniff through your nostrils and take in more of that wonderful sunshine aroma of hers. One arm rests over her neck, and the other hand holds her hoof tightly. She seems unfazed by your grip and sits firmly to offer you comfort. After a few minutes, your sobbing dies down, and you begin to breathe. Though your face is puffy from sobbing, you manage to compose yourself. Would you like to hear my thoughts? Celestia asks, lifting her head to face you as you wipe underneath your eyes. You nod slowly in the affirmative. I think you have a beautiful soul underneath the pain you've been carrying. I think you are a smart, kind, and talented individual. You may not think it yourself, and you might even be tempted to act in a way that contradicts it on your worst days, but I see something wonderful underneath that weakness. One of her wings moves to your face, and her feathers rubs against your cheek to wipe some tears away. If you allow yourself to believe me, then you might just find that you're worth more than you give yourself credit for. Celestia's wing pulls away from your puffy cheek, and she looks into your eyes earnestly. Do you think you could try that for me, my dear? You stay silent for a moment, letting Celestia's words sink in. You blink rapidly, and a weary smile spans across your face as you nod. Before you lay the side of your head against her neck and voice your agreement to her, the warmth her soft white coat provides is rivaled only by the sunlight shining from the sky along your back. Silence hangs between you two for the longest time. You have a question burning on your mind, but with you laying naked next to her, after you've bared your soul to her, you wonder if it's asking too much. But if there's one thing the princess has proved to you today, it's that she doesn't want you to hold anything back from her. Even if she says no, you tell yourself that she won't throw you off the balcony for asking a simple question. You murmur softly, asking if you can kiss her. You find yourself unable to look at Celestia directly as you hear her giggle. Her hoof reaches to your face and tilts your chin upwards. "Only if I can kiss you back," she says softly, her long, elegant eyelashes fluttering as she bashes them at you. Her reply is more receptive than you expected, and it catches you off guard a moment. It takes Celestia lowering her face to you and pushing her lips in anticipation to break you from your temporary daze. You take a deep breath and push yourself to move your face forward. Your eyes are scanning all over her facial details as you're moving closer to her. Her flawless white coat, her long thin eyelashes, her delicate maw with her luscious full lips. Wow, she's really pretty, you find yourself thinking. You're so enraptured by her beauty up close that your head seems to have forgotten how to move forward. "Oh dear, you're certainly a shy one," she says in a sing-song voice, rubbing your chin with her hoof. "Don't be hesitant, sweetheart. I promise I won't bite." You regain yourself and press forward, closer to her face. Your nose touches the end of her muzzle, and you tilt your head back just slightly to move your mouth underneath. And then you feel it, the soft, fleshy comfort of Celestia's lips, pressed up against yours, unmoving but still pleasant to the touch. She delightfully hums into your mouth as you're touching her. With your eyes closed, you feel yourself melt into the kiss and find yourself entranced in place. Where you are, eventually you pull yourself away and look at the alicorn in front of you, who's slowly opening her eyes to stare back at you with a bit of a sly smile on her lips. You realize suddenly that you just kissed the Princess of Equestria. You've not even been in the country a week, and you've kissed the highest authority in the land, the most beautiful, enchanting mare that exists, as far as you and the rest of the nation is aware. And she seems more than happy that you've done so. While you stay rigid with a warm and red face, you don't register that Celestia is moving towards you this time until she plants her lips on yours. This time her mouth opens just slightly, and you can feel her tongue poking out against your lips. You open your mouth and push your tongue forward to meet hers. They mingle lightly with one another. As you tilt your head sideways and lock lips with her, you gently move your body forward and find Celestia laying back against the comforter, allowing you to lay your chest on top of her. Feeling her tongue wiggle against yours, your anxiousness begins to die down quickly. You find the strength to move your arm up her body and stroke underneath her foreleg, moving gently all the way down, stroking her coat until you reach her hoof. Celestia hums as you touch her, writhing underneath you in an alluring manner. Your hand moves back up her foreleg, tracing your fingers down her chest and over the side of her tummy. She thrashes once and laughs rather loudly as she breaks your kiss. "Ooh, oh my, that tickles," she sighs, her upper body shaking a bit. You can feel your erection, which had grown soft from your previous emotional outpour, returning with an increased vigor. You ask Celestia if she's alright, and she nods. You ask her if she wants you to keep going. Again she nods eagerly, not even a smidgen of a hesitation in her reply. "Just be slow and gentle. I'm very ticklish." Decreasing your pace, you drag your hand down across her belly, watching as she squirms in joy from your touch. Feel a smaller roundness under her stomach, with a pointy flesh poking out. You look down a moment and confirm that you found her left teat, with her nipple standing on end in the center. With your palm over her nipple, you give her breast a firm squeeze, drawing a loud gasp from your princess. "Sss." Celestia moans as you squeeze her, drawing your fingers in towards your palm, and then grabbing onto her nipple. Your thumb and finger pinch it lightly, and pull up on it to stretch her flesh a bit. The touch draws an even higher moan from her, as she instinctively pushes her belly upwards. As you're playing with the princess, you can hear a very light, wet, smacking sound coming from underneath her. You look down past your erection, pointing right at her, and see her fat mare vulva winking in rhythm, its sopping lips smacking against each other with each pulse. Every time they open, you can see her round, fleshy clitoris swelling with her arousal. Poking out towards you, you trickle your fingers down from her breast and across her inner thigh, making her snicker in response. What a little tease you are, she coos, her bottom wiggling excitedly as you draw closer to her opening slit. You reach the bottom of it, right above her pronounced anus, and trace your finger up the surface. Celestia draws a sharp intake of air, but keeps herself from moaning out loud. Instead, she closes her eyes, while her mouth is clamped shut. Her cheeks turn a light shade of pink as you press your fingers flat up against her winking snatch, and rub it back and forth. With each press, you work your way up to her enlarged clitoris. You press the tips of your two fingers against the round, fleshy surface and push into her body. Celestia lets out a pleasurable scream as her body contracts and her head lays back. Her mouth hangs open as she continuously moans. While you rub her clitoris in a clockwise direction, seeing the princess in such an aroused state sends a lovely tingle down your chest, making your testicles pull up and your erection throb strongly. Celestia's chest rises up and down while the sounds escaping her throat sound heavenly and glorious, like she's singing her heart out for a concert with only you as her audience. It's a challenge to keep up with her movements as she's becoming more and more aroused, but you're more than happy to push yourself to match her. The sight of her pussy excreting more and more of her aroused fluids pushes you to keep going, and reinforces that you're doing a superb job of pleasuring. Hold just a moment, dear, she suddenly says, lifting her head up. You immediately pull your hand away as she rolls herself forward off of the comforter and moving to stand. With some effort, she's able to stand on all fours with the dock of her sparkling, wafting tail lifted upwards. You've heard rumors that Celestia had quite a large posterior from her love of bakery sweets, but looking at it now proves them false. While it certainly isn't small and bony, it's magnificently toned and wonderfully round, about as big as any mare's rump. However, due to the size of her body and length of her legs, it actually appears smaller in proportion to the rest of her. Her arousal has forced her firm cheeks to spread open slightly, fully displaying to you her pronounced anus and her still winking mare pussy as she's standing in front of you. Like this, she pants to you, her forelegs comfortable but trembling ever so slightly. It feels more natural in a way. Looking at Celestia now, you realize how much this new position contrasts with her previous one. Laying on her back with her legs spread out and her forelegs free made it seem as if you were laying with a human. In this new position, you're reminded that your partner is equine through and through, her posture reminiscent of a more feral horse. The ones that lack sentience back home. You feel a bit uneasy about going at her now, with that thought at the back of your mind, until your eyes meet her face. Celestia looks at you with shimmering eyes. You can see her chest moving up and down as she breathes. She bites her bottom lip and whines a bit as she closes her eyes. Another surge of arousal coursing through her. The surge reaches her haunches and makes her lips begin to wink once again, and her rear wiggles in anticipation of your length inside of her. The sunlight shines through her wafting air and casts a glow around her head, making her seem more omnipotent than ever. With her longing face breaking down the final walls of anticipation, you step forward and rest your left hand on Celestia's back. You're right on her butt cheek. She jumps a bit as you give it a firm squeeze and then poke the head of your swelling cock against the surface of her cavern. Unlike all the other ponies in Equestria, Celestia's height on all fours lines her rear up perfectly with your groin when you're standing. You don't have the heart to make her beg, so being a gentleman, you push right in. Celestia's voice sings out as you enter her, and the muscles of her inner walls grip onto your shaft once you bottom out, and your hips touch her rump. Celestia pushes herself back against you, wanting to feel even just an inch deeper inside. You pull back far enough before you begin to see the pink of your shaft. Then slide back in, keeping your feet glued to the ground. You work your hips back and forth with enough force to slap against her posterior with each motion. You can feel your heart rate elevating as you move, and hear Celestia murmuring as she breathes. Ah, it feels so good. Ah, as you're moving in and out of her, you lightly graze your fingernails across the white hairs of her sizable rump. That feels nice. You're such a sweetheart. When you bottom out in her again, you keep your hips against her. She wiggles her rear back and forth as you're buried inside and continue to scratch her butt. Hearing her sweet little whangs makes your length throb inside of her, making her walls pull it in respectively. You want to come, don't you? You keep silent, still trying to please her as best as you can. Don't lie to me now. I know you want to come inside of me. Staying at Twilight hasn't allowed you much freedom to give yourself release. You want to fill me up with that load you've been keeping to yourself for days, don't you? You ask her if she wants to come as well. Oh, don't worry about me, dear. I don't need to finish to enjoy myself. I just love feeling a nice, warm mess fill me up. Just thinking about what she's saying sends shivers down your chest and into your into your testes. Feeling it slip out and drip down my thighs. Again, the vision fills your mind, and you feel a mighty pulse spread throughout your groin. Holding onto her flanks, you quickly rear yourself in and out of her in succession, trying to stave off your building climax as much as you can. Celestia continues to taunt you, partly moaning from the force of your thrust. With you on your last legs, you push yourself into her once again. You feel the surge rocket up your length and spur out of the opening. It pulls into the space left in Celestia's caverns and encompasses your throbbing shaft. You pull back a moment, slipping away even easier with your cum-lace erection, and another surge hits you as you empty it out inside her. You bury yourself in her once more and lean forward as you lay your chest onto her rear. Celestia looks over her shoulder to gaze at you, her mouth open and gasping for breath. You smile at her and use your right hand to pat her bottom. She grins and shakes her rump a bit before you pull out and slump down on your back to the comforter. Celestia remains standing as you keep your eye on her rear, and just as she said, your cum begins to seep out of her after her vagina gives another wink. The white fluid dribbles out of her lips and rolls down the hairs of her thighs, stopping just at her knees. Another wink, and the strand of it drips straight down onto the marble balcony. Oh, how much were you holding back? Celestia asks rhetorically before she turns to face you. With her shimmering tail still raised, she lowers her body to your level and leans in to kiss the side of your face. The nerves of your body are still sensitive, and the gentle contact she's giving you makes you giggle, and your entire form contracts. She moves her lips to your ear and down to your neck, dragging her tongue across your skin as she moves, making you gasp. The sudden rush makes your groin jolt again, and you instinctively force another bit of cum to form on the head of your shaft. The princess brings her head back up to you and kisses your lips gingerly. Her hoof rubs your chest as you're squirming in ecstasy underneath her. She lowers a wing to serve as a blanket over you and scoots in next to you as you drift away from consciousness for a moment. You're only out for a few minutes before you open your eyes again. The sun's position in the sky confirming that you haven't lost too much time from your nap. With her wings still draped over your front, Celestia leans in and muzzles the top of your head. Do you feel better, my dear? Celestia asks as she withdraws her wing. You sit upright and stretch your limbs out. You realize that you feel great, better than you've felt in a long, long time. You feel confident, you feel relaxed, and most important of all, you feel loved. Even though you've only known each other for a short time, you know Celestia loves you as you love her, as she's looking down over you, fully exposed and without a hint of despair. You can see that she honestly cares for you. You raise to your knees and wrap your arms around the back of her neck once again, thanking her for the gift she's giving you, and tell her how wonderful she is. Oh, you're so polite, dear. You're very welcome. Celestia's wings squeeze you gently and then let go. I suppose it's getting close to the time that I should let you climb back down. But before you go, the alicorn stands up stands up from the comforter and walks forward, pointing her rump towards you, with your cum still plastered onto the back of her legs. Do you think you could clean me up? It wouldn't really be acceptable for the council to see me in such a way. You're more than eager to assist her, and you crawl your way to the edge of the comforter, drawing your face close to her warm, round hindquarters with a hand on her cheeks for leverage. You push your tongue against the back of her leg. At the end of your cum trail, you drag your tongue upwards all the way up to your cheek, drawing out a desirable hum from her throat. You realize your semen doesn't taste bad, rather flavorless but a tiny bit sweet. You move your head to her other leg and lick it up as well, until you reach her pussy, the source of where your semen is leaking out of. You press your tongue flat against her lips, and Celestia opens her mouth with a lustful moan. You can feel her clitoris push against your chin as you lick her. While you're pushing your tongue inside to lick up any lingering globs of your cum, you briefly feel a hoof move across the back of your head. No, pull out, she commands suddenly. She retreats from your face with her expression tightened up as she's fighting to regain some control over herself. If I let myself come, I won't have enough energy to attend day court soon. Though slightly disappointed, you nod as she uses her magic to bring your clothes back onto your body. Fully dressed, you stand up and walk across a marble balcony to her as she's levitating her scattered accessories back to her body. She steps all four toes into her shoes, slips her chest plate around her neck, and then fixes her hair back into an orderly form before affixing her tiara to her head. She also takes a few deep breaths, commanding her raised tail to go back down and conceal her hindquarters. Now fully dressed, with her privates clean for the most part, Celestia turns back to you, and you trade one final hug with her. If you ever would like to see me again, feel free to visit. My doors will always be open to you, she says as she holds you in her wings. And no matter if you go back to your world or stay here, promise me that you will never stop trying to be the best you that you can be, and that you won't hide what makes you wonderful from those around you. You nod solemnly before she kisses the side of her face. Good. Well then, you'll best be off until next time, my dear. Celestia uses her magic to conjure up the trail of light steps that you initially climbed to reach her in the beginning. Lifting yourself over the rails, you wave back to her as you climb down the stairs. It only takes a few steps before you can no longer see her smiling face as she's waving down to you. While you wish you could stay with her forever, you're not too sad that you're leaving. What Celestia has given you is something that stays with you no matter how far away from her you are, or how long it's been since you've seen her. With a newfound confidence in yourself, even when you're miles up in the air, that journey back down to the earth doesn't seem as daunting as it should be. No matter where you go, you'll find the warmth of the sun shining down on you, guiding you towards the brightest future you can imagine. The end. Alright guys, hopefully you have all enjoyed. Also, this is probably the slowest I ever read any of these stories, so if you're gonna complain in the comments, go fuck yourselves. Okay, so we have a Portal 1 Let's Play happening soon. Anyways guys, hopefully you have enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.
100,000 stories have filled my head as I look for the answer.